Data collection has so many moving parts. It is imperative that you are organized. On today's video, I'm going to be teaching you what I teach clients, and that's how to create a data collection timeline and journey so you know exactly what it is that you're going to do, and you can tell IRB exactly what you're going to do. If that's of interest, keep watching this video. Okay, step number one, recruiting participants. You want to think about how are potential participants going to learn about your study and what is each step that they need to do in order to learn about it, sign up for it, and be prepared for your first step of data collection. You can do this in several ways. You can email maybe potential participants or maybe different individuals who you know have relationships with your potential participants. You can use social media, which is becoming more popular these days because everybody's on the social media. You could do flyers or on bulletin boards, which, post pandemic life, I'm not sure how much that's useful, but hey, anything works. You can do word of mouth, just simply telling people, hey, I'm working on this project. I'm looking for people who fit these characteristics. Let me know if you know of anyone. You can hold an information session depending on maybe you go to where a group of your participants are already hanging out or different organizations and just give a little 5-minute spiel of like, hey, I'm doing this project. It'd be really dope if you could help me out. I'm gonna be hanging out over here in the corner if you want to sign up. Those are some ways of recruiting participants and just letting people know that, hey, I have a study. Okay, step number two. You do these things now and people are like, pick me, yes, I want to sign up. How do they sign up for your study? Is it that you want them to email you directly? Have you created a particular website or maybe a form that they can use at a particular link? Is it that you want them to sign up with you in person, like maybe when you went to the organization and they can sign up right there on the spot? But you want to think about what is the next step once someone finds out about your study? How do they then take that next step to sign up? Number three, now I'm interested. How do I know that I can participate in your study? Because you want to think about what is the criteria for your participants? Is it a particular age? Do they have to live in a particular place? Do they have to have a certain years of experience in doing a certain task? Like, for instance, do I have to be a teacher for 3 years or more? You want to think about that information. You want to think about the purpose of your study. You want to think about the type of data you need. And so, will these people be able to fulfill those? You want to think about time commitment. How long is it going to take from start to finish to participate in this study? And then you want to think about their level of experience. So, on the form or the website or in person, you want to be sure to tell people, hey, I am looking for teachers who teach exclusively mathematics. You've been teaching 2 years or less. You work in an urban school setting and you are thinking about leaving the field altogether. And if you have demographic, maybe say you're a person of color, you spent most of your formative years in the United States, and you can participate for 3 hours over a 3-week period, and you are willing to share with me about your experience. All of that needs to be clear, because if I am someone and I saw your social media post at night and I was like, oh, that seems like a cool study, let me go click. But if you have all these people who are signing up, but you can't use any of them because they don't fit the criteria of your study, then it's kind of like a wasted effort. So you want to make sure you're crystal clear on all of your materials about who is right for this study and what's required of them. This is important. What is the time required? How long will this study take? What is it that I need to make sure I'm prepared as a future participant in order to fully participate in this study? Step number four. Now, I'm interested, I fit the criteria. You want to make sure that participants are giving you their verbal and written consent of participation. And what that looks like is explaining to them, again, this is my project, this is what's required, this is what I'm looking at. If you ever feel uncomfortable, you get to bow out. I'm going to respect your confidentiality. If you ever have any issue with me or anyone else involved in the study and you want to talk to someone, here's my chair's information or here's the school's information. You can do so there. And if you need additional resources, I have listed some at the bottom. And your potential participants will review that information, and then you need a written signature to say, yep, I give my consent for participation, and yes, verbally I give my consent. This is important. IRB won't let you move on, won't let you talk to another human without you getting consent. Now, step number 5, you got the people, yay. Now, what do you want to do with the people? How many interviews? When are you going to schedule those interviews? And so this is going to require some forethought on your end. Let's say, for simplicity's sake, you want to do 2 interviews with each of your participants. Do you want to do those interviews back to back? Do you need time and space in between the interviews? Because maybe you want to take the information from the first interview to inform the questions for the second interview. Is it that you want the second interview to happen after you have met with all the participants? These are some things you want to think about so that you can accurately tell the participant, this is what you can expect from me. You want to make sure you gather any information you need, particularly your interview protocol. The interview protocol is just what are the list of questions you're going to ask? What is the procedure of the interview? You're going to meet at the public library, you're going to get a study room, you're going to get that room for an hour, you're going to email the participant instructions of how to get to that study room. When you come in, you're going to first do a couple of minutes of rapport building. You're going to ask for permission to record. You're going to ask your questions. You're going to end at the 50-minute mark. You're going to thank the participant for coming. You're going to give them a $5 gift card, and then you're going to go into transcribing the interview with service. That level of detail is required to know what data collection looks like, because the more detailed you can be, the easier this process goes, and it makes a beautiful experience for everyone involved. Some final notes about data collection. Where are you going to keep your data, your files? IRB is going to want to know, how are you going to ensure the safety of the data? If it's all digitally, where are you going to keep it? As much as possible to prevent it being leaked, and as much as possible ensuring the confidentiality of your participants. So you want to think about that. You also want to think about, there are many moving parts. So if you have multiple participants who are doing multiple interviews, are you going to wait until you collect all of the data and then you're going to send it off to be transcribed? Are you going to be transcribing the data in between interviews? You want to have a plan so you know how to think about your time and organize yourself. Finally, after data collection, make sure you follow up with the people who gave their time and energy to help you with your dissertation. Send them a thank you note, send them a thank you card. I swear you can't do enough to thank people because they are helping you so much. And the actual data collection process has helped them to think about their experience in ways that they probably haven't had the opportunity to do so before. So just thank them of that. You want to communicate any next steps that you have with them. So if you're going to be sending them a copy of the transcript, if you're going to ask for them to do an optional focus group, you want to make sure that you tell them that, and you want to keep communication lines open because they're going to have different things that they want to make sure they tell you even after data collection. If you are giving participant time to review the transcript, so member checking, you want to give them a defined time limit. So a week, 2 weeks, how long do they have to look at and ensure the accuracy of the transcript? And you want to make sure you communicate that, and you want to send reminders to them. And then finally, you want to schedule any future data collection, so like a focus group or a training, as quickly as possible. Because once you let people go too long, they're going to get caught up in their lives, and it's going to be that much harder to schedule later. And I just encourage clients to schedule according to their to their timeline. So just give yourself 6 weeks out and say, we're all going to meet here. It's okay. It's optional if you can't make it, but that's when we're going to meet. Again, the more you can plan ahead of time, the smoother this process will go. Finally, give yourself an overall timeline of when you want to complete this 3 months, 6 months. Give yourself an idea because you may need to take off of work. There may be traveling involved, and you just want to have a clear plan.